Hey everybody, Jeremy here. Today I'm going to be checking out the Thinkware Q850 dash camera. This is the 2-channel version, which means that it comes with both the front and the rear camera, and it's going to cost $350. So if you decide that you want to pick this up for yourself, I'll leave a link in the description so that you can get it directly from Thinkware. And also down in the description, there's going to be a special promo code that's going to give you 5% off on your order. So this dash camera is going to be sort of in the mid-range of Thinkware's dash cameras. If you want one that's more affordable than this, I also reviewed their Q200 dash camera as well. So I'm going to leave a card and a link in the description where you can check out that review. But let's go over some of the specs of this particular camera setup. It's going to have a resolution of 1440p max. That's going to be the front camera. And then the rear camera is going to be 1080p. And it also has HDR for the rear camera. The viewing angle for the front camera is going to be 125 degrees, whereas the rear camera is going to have a 160-degree viewing angle. And the sensor for this camera is going to be a Sony Starvis 5.14 megapixel sensor. It also comes with Thinkware's Super Night Vision 2.0 technology. It's got built-in Wi-Fi and built-in GPS, and that's going to give you access to not only the standard Thinkware Dash Link app, but it's also going to give you access to their Thinkware Connected app as well. You're also going to get access to Thinkware's road safety warning system as well, which means that the camera is going to alert you in the event of lane departures or potential forward end collisions. And it can also detect speed cameras and red light cameras that are coming up, and it'll send you a warning about those as well. And should you choose to connect this camera either through a hardwire connection or the OBD2 connection, you'll be able to access parking surveillance as well as a time-lapse feature that you'll only be able to do if you have it connected to your car in that way. And before I forget, if you're wondering about the frames per second of the camera, front camera is going to be 30 frames per second. So those are the basic specifications. Now let's open up this box and see everything that we get inside of this 2-channel system. So on top, we have the main camera, which is going to be the front camera. And you'll see that compared to the less expensive version like the Q200, this one is a little bit bigger. It's a little bit wider as well. We've got more buttons on here to press, just a couple more buttons. And then the actual lens of the camera is right here. And you do have the ability to turn this in order to get the perfect angle for you. So that's just right there on top. Underneath, you're going to get here, this is the hard wiring kit that you're going to need to hardwire this to your car, which is highly recommended that you get a professional to do this for you. But if you do, you'll have access to all of the features that this camera has to offer. So this is the hard wiring kit here. And then you're going to get this long cable right here that's going to connect the front camera and the rear cameras together. Speaking of the rear camera, here it is right here. So this reminds me of the rear camera that's on the Q200. I'm not sure if it's the exact same camera, but just as far as their size and the way that it operates, it seems very similar. You can also rotate it right here to get the angle that you need. And then also inside of here, you're going to get some adhesive mounts. So this is a spare adhesive mount, and then these are some adhesive mounts that have little clips on them for routing your wires. And then inside here, we just have a QR code on a pamphlet that you can scan to get the instruction manual, because this does not come with an instruction manual. And that is everything that's in the box. But I do need to tell you this. I was a little bit confused as I was looking through this. I thought I was missing something. When it comes to powering this camera in the car, they only give you the hard wiring cable, which means unless you know what you're doing, you're going to need someone professional to install this in your car. It does not come with a power adapter that you can just plug into the power port of your car. I think it's like a 12-volt connection, the cigarette lighter. This doesn't come with that. Your only option is hard wiring it. Now, you could use the OBD2 cable, but that's an additional expense. But when it comes to just everything that's inside of this box, you only get the hard wiring cable. That is so weird. So if you're not aware of that, you're going to have to pay someone to install this for you. And I think that that's really It's really confusing because the less expensive camera, the Q200, it comes with a hard wiring cable and it comes with a power adapter that you can plug into that cigarette lighter. Even on the more expensive U3000, that one doesn't come with a hard wiring cable, but it does come with a way to just plug it into the power port of your car. But the Q850 only comes with a hard wiring cable. So, yeah, that's weird. What I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can still power this using the 12 volt adapter, the plug that's already in the car from the Q200, and I'll let you know if that works. But other than that, this cannot be powered unless you either have the OBD2 cable or the hard wiring cable. And for $350, that's really unfortunate. This is the third Thinkware dashcam I've reviewed, and they all use the same apps to access basic and advanced features. The Thinkware Dashcam Link app is the main application, and it can be downloaded on Android or iOS. Here's a quick look at the settings menu, but if you want to see a more in-depth rundown of the different features and settings available within this app and the Thinkware Connected app, check out my reviews on the U3000 or Q200 that's linked in the description of this video. What I really want to focus on is the video quality of this camera. I don't know if it's because I used the power adapter from the less expensive Q200 to power this camera since it only came with a hard wiring cable, or if it's more to do with the image processor and post-processing algorithm. The image just doesn't look natural to me. In fact, the less expensive Q200 looks better to me. I notice more image artifacts, odd lighting, grain, and overexposures with the Q850. It's as if the software of the camera is applying an aggressive amount of sharpening in an attempt to make the image look more crisp, but I prefer the more natural look the Q200 offers. I understand the perception of the image may be a matter of taste, so let's talk more about this dashcam's other aspects. So the videos are captured in 1 minute intervals at 30 frames per second. The videos record smoothly, and I have not seen any gaps in coverage in the dozens of hours this dashcam has been in operation. License plate legibility is good, provided the car you're watching isn't too far away or moving too quickly. But I wouldn't say that the Q850 is any better or worse than the other Thinkware dashcams that I've tried. The rear camera offers much the same in that the movement is smooth, but the image is a little bit soft. It's not as high resolution as the front camera, so it's not expected to look as nice, but you can still see a fairly decent amount of detail in good lighting. The Super Night Vision 2.0 certainly does light up the night as expected, but it doesn't look terribly good while doing it. The same issues with video quality that are evident during the peak of the day persists into the night. The headlights from cars turn into blurry, glowing orbs, and the rear camera does not show too much in the dead of night. In these conditions, you shouldn't expect to clearly read any license plates. The cameras will just serve as a continuous log of what's happening at the moment, a way to visually prove to law enforcement or your insurance company what really happened in the event of an accident, even if the other driver flees the scene. The speed camera and traffic light camera detection works as expected. I've always liked how the camera gave me a heads up a little under a half a mile prior to reaching the detection device. I know I've been a bit hard on the video quality of this camera, but that's only because of the price point that it sits at. For $350, I was hoping to get some video quality that was better than the cheaper camera that I previously reviewed. As I said, it's a matter of taste, but I do think that the sharpening is done too aggressively in this camera, and it's a bit off-putting to me, which is why I recommend and I do prefer the visual quality of the less expensive Q200 camera. But the Q850 does still have its advantages, for example, access to the Thinkware Connected app in case you needed to do something like geofencing and keep tabs on where the car is at all times. That alone may be worth the extra money to you, but if you just need a regular dash camera to keep tabs on what's going on in front of you and what's going on in back of you, visually, I prefer the Q200's look. So that's it for now, everybody. And remember, if you want to purchase this camera or any of Thinkware's other products, check out the link in the description, as well as that special promo code, which will help you save a little bit of extra money on your purchase. So until next time, take care of yourselves, and I'll speak to you soon.